Alright everyone, good evening and welcome back to ALR. I'm here tonight, my name is Allu in place of Sietsebooma. RDO you probably can hear right now as I was muted. Anyways, I'm stepping in for Booma tonight. He has an issue and can't make it, but luckily I was available as a backup. Here I am. So, Circuit Paul Ricard tonight at the beautiful French countryside. And we got 14 drivers already, although it's 5 minutes to go, so... Let's see if this will provide more excitement than the Thursday's races where there were plenty of trains forming. And everything. Of course not hoping for rain, as it always complicates things a bit. Yeah, let's see, we're missing one Mercedes, one Ferrari, one McLaren, AlphaTauri and a Racing Point. Yeah, RDO, I didn't have the chance to look at the Tier 4 race as I was racing with Tier 2. I had excitement for the last 2 laps when I switched on to the softs just at the right time and was able to gain 5 positions on the final lap. Thanks, Terminator. I think I got it covered. Let's see. Plenty of guys here I know already from former endeavors in league racing. Denja I have heard of because of my good friend and a fellow countryman in Dublade, starring in it at the Haas. Malechkic I don't know, Zap I don't know. Jacob used to race with me in the Tier 4 last season. And I think so did Reaper Dude. Fontenau, congratulations on your point scoring performance in another league race, just prior at this one. He's fast and probably in my book one of the contenders for the win. Noob Squid is a familiar face from the Race of Champions as wild card, and I raced him last season, so I did Nichols. Robin in another league I'm in is fast. And so I've heard that Apex is also a fast guy. Of course, everyone knows Mike Sands, the most entertaining driver in the grid, for sure. Slimmy is occasionally fast. We had a few tussles in Tier 4 last season. Steven was also there, and Alo. Another countryman here in Sabetti. Never seen him drive, but this will be the first. Let's get the standings up as they were requested in the chat. Sorry if my voice is a bit down. I'm a lead singer in a metal band and we had practice tonight, so long time no practice, so therefore my voice is a bit sore, but I'll make the best out of it. Let's see, standings. So Apex Turbo leading the way with only podium finishes at his name with 55 points, followed by Fontenau. Fastest laps in all 3 races so far. Is behind him by 13 points at 42. Robin in 3rd, our winner last time out at Bahrain. Slimmy 4th, Densha 5th, Dynamo 6th, Zap 7th, Gowie Igin in 8th, Dublade in 9th, Reaper Dude in the Red Bull in 10th, Noob Squid in 11th, Maleshkit in 12th, Nichols in 13th, Alo in 14th, SJ in 15th, and that were the guys who have scored points thus far. And we nearly have a full grid tonight of what was just a second ago 19 drivers. A good turnout here. Will be interesting. If I had to predict the podium, I would probably say it's Denja. I'm gonna say Denja, Robin, and Apex, with Fonta finishing 4th. And Slimmy 5th. That's my top 5 prediction for tonight. Anyways, Circuit Paul Ricard tonight in France. It's one of the more high probability rain tracks. I think, at least when I race there, it always rains at some point. Which is of course providing a interesting situation with the strategies and everything. Especially if the weather will change during the race. Pretty fast and wide. In my opinion, not the most exciting tracks in the calendar, but anyways, one that has the space, so probably will provide overtakes. Better in league racing than in the real life, definitely. Looks like our drivers are readying up to start the session here tonight. It'll be interesting to see. If someone driving is listening or watching to the stream, please do tell me the weather forecast for the event. Thanks, Mike. I know I could count on you. Cloudy with the chance of meatballs. That would be interesting to drive Formula 1 cars in a meatball rain. Imagine the sauce on the track surface. Oh yeah, Penguin Snake was supposed to be here too, my teammate in Sprint League. Well, he wasn't available for the other league race we did just before this, so probably that unavailability will carry on over here, as we seem to get the nice and sunny weather for the session. And a wet race, so that will probably, well, at least for me on Thursday it did affect my quali performance, as I had to pick the wet setup. And the first car on the track will be a Red Bull of Reproduced. And that is instantly changed to Williams of either Denja or Fonter now. Reaper has opted to go out on the medium tire, which is interesting. If there will be a wet race, then you can just shoot all your dry tires in the the qualifying. So Alex Hommel in the chat is predicting Azab, Slimmy and Denja for the podium. Let's see whose prediction is more correct. As we follow Fontenot in his Williams around the beautiful and colorful French circuit. As we draw ever closer to the release of F1 2021, it would be so cool to have those retro tracks. I used to love that other French track, Magny-Cours, back in the day. Ron's probably not the worst penalty track of them all. The first corner is tricky, especially on the exit of turn 2. That will probably provide some penalties for our drivers here tonight, as Fontenot sets out to start the first time lap of the session. Really using all the track width upon entry on turn 1, and that is nice and tidy. Interesting that entry on the hairpin, which concludes the first sector. There seems to be a number of ways that people take it. None of them necessarily faster or slower than the other, but you do need to use all the track width here. Fontenot avoiding that outside curb on the chicane. Of course, the first car out on track, so purple for the first 2. As he enters the long sweeping right-hander on the start of the third sector. Looks tidy enough and fast. And for the hairpin, starts the acceleration early, and this will be a relatively competitive lap of 1:29 and 4. Let's see Reaper Dude behind him, making his way to the line with the medium tire. It will be a 1:30 and 9. Let's see, it will be Alo next across the line with 1:31.0. And Dewblade right behind him goes for 1:31.2. I think he has started another lap right away, but pulls away in time. Jacob goes fastest with a 1:29.3. Just that 18 one-thousandths of a second faster than Fonta did, and Racing Tay in the Mercedes 7/100 slower. Sabetti now on a lap, encountering traffic in his house. As Denja has gone 1:29 and 1, inherits the provisional pole for now. As predicted before, these guys that I mentioned for my podium or top 5 prediction are fast. So let's see if that's who's going to be able to challenge him. Sabetti heads to the long sweeping right-hander. Looks relatively fast for now. Bet that traffic at the start of the lap really affected his start of the lap. Doesn't look like all that competitive. Or will it? It's a 1:29.9. Followed closely by... No, it's not on Purvis age. It was Zab who goes 4th with a 1:29.7. Let's stick with the Purvis age as there's a bollard on track. Mike gets out of the way nicely. Going a bit wide for the Sage in the last corner. It's a 131. No, it's 132 and 2, which is good enough for P10. Well, let's see now. Slimmy on his first time lap. It's gonna be a good one. It's a 129.92. Is good enough for 5th, just edging out over Sabetti. Egan is out on a lap. Let's see that Alfa Romeo's pace. Yeah, Rossi, I don't know. Not a lot of spots around France where you can take a lot of penalties, except that turn 2 exit and entry. I won't say anything. I haven't seen these guys race apart from occasionally watching the Blade stream. Egan locks up in the last corner, starts to run to the line. Speed will be 131 flat, which is good enough for 9th. Malechkic on the lap. Huh. So 11 seconds, huh? So that's 1 5-second and 2 track limits. Malechkic nearly invalidating, but just manages to keep it within the lines. Limi has dropped out, but luckily he has a lap in place. Let's see what he can do as he starts the acceleration to the line a bit late, but is able to get a 130 and a 3. Egan is disqualified. Ponto now has just started a lap. Let's take a look at Steven first. Used to drive for Renault in Tier 4. And now in the Ferrari with the same helmet I see. Rossi, didn't you manage to overtake Big Bambino in the end? I mean, I overtook him at penalties, but I think you did get past him on track. Oh yeah, so once you got the DRS advantage, you managed to overtake him very well. Good job on your podium, mate. Steven goes 132 and 1, which is good enough for 13th. Let's see Jacob now. Nearly 2 tenths faster than his original fastest time, so he is definitely in range to challenge Denja. Honda is actually before him to the line. Let's see. It will be a good lap of 138 and 9, which is good enough for provisional pole. Let's see if Jacob can challenge him. No, he can't. Manages to improve, but not enough, and cutting the first corners massively. Anyways, Fonta now takes the hold of the provisional pole with a nice lap of 128 and 9. Relatively close at the top. It'll be interesting to see who can prevail in the end, as Mike Sands is making his way to the line. Let's see if he is able to improve. by a good 6/10, but still misses out on per visage. Just about, but does miss. Interestingly enough, Apex Turbo doesn't have a valid lap time set yet, so let's see if he will be able to do that. Same with Nichols, who is just starting a lap. Let's see how he will fare in his Red Bull. Really attacking the first corner and a bit too much. How was that not invalid? I don't know. The track map tells that his first sector was purple, but I seriously doubt it. Let's see to the second sector line if the game is fixed. No, it isn't. It's purple still. But I doubt it, because I think Fonta did around 50 seconds after 2 sectors, so probably just a glitch. Love how they call themselves Codemasters and can't even make a glitchless game. But that aside, it's been a great game though. Still eagerly awaiting for 2021 and hoping that it's better in terms of stability and whatnot. Of course, the new features are interesting as well. As Nichols is able to set a valid lap time of 1:31.1, which is good enough for 13th. What about Apex then? Making his way to the last corners. It would be a relatively good banker lap. It's a 1:30.1. Good enough for 7th. To be honest, I kinda expected more, but there is still time for one more push if you rush to the pits now and get that new rubber. Denja has gone round in the chicane. Hopefully there was no contact. And I hope that didn't ruin Nichols' lap too. Let's see, Go Ikin is nearly a second faster than his original fastest time. Goes very wide on the last corner, but manages to get it done without invalidating. And goes 8th. Pretty good. Reaper still sticking it with the mediums, I see. Nichols heading for the pits. So is Denja. He probably got damage from the earlier contact with whoever that was again. Steven is starting a lap. Stick with Aero. Has gone 2/10 faster nearly after 2 sectors, so might be able to challenge Doublade for 12th. If he can keep it together, that is. Yeah, Rossi, it might be soft to mediums in another sesh, but someone told me that it will be a wet race. I think it was Mike. Shout out to him. Aero goes very wide on the last corner, but looks to being set to improve. And does so, but only the tiniest amount, and his position stays the same. Well, let's see here. Igin has invalidated and is probably starting his last attempt of the session, as there's only... And it has started to rain! I can confirm it has started to rain, and that might affect the rest of the qualifying massively, as Denja comes out from the pits just in front of Igin. Denja, what are you doing? He's not getting out of the way for Igin. Well, now he is, but it's too late. The lap has been ruined already. Jacob is also there, but he is on his outlap. Nichols in the mix too, so pretty much everyone is in a rush to cross the line. Let's see, Doublade now starting his lap. It's starting to rain quite rapidly, so I think everyone is in a bit of a rush to improve their times if they wish to do so. Doublade invalidates in the first corner, so I think that might be his qualifying done. As the conditions seem to be deteriorating. Zab has gone half a second quicker. Is actually somewhere in the pole territory, no? Wait, it's only in the first sector, and the track is currently rapidly turning all the more wet, and Jacob calls it the session. Yeah. So it probably will be Fontana on pole, as I don't think there will be major improvements with the dry tires anymore. Plenty of people retiring. Steven gets disqualified for some reason. Probably try to turn his car pointing the right way around. Yeah, everyone just retiring in the pits as the rain has affected the track too much. No chance to improve. And that will do it for this session. There will be no improvement from Fonta. Denja is invalid and losing the rear on the sweeping right-hander. He's able to keep it out of the wall though. Man, that's a bummer. I would have loved to see people still going out for their last runs, because I do think that those guys might have had it in them to challenge Fonter now for the pole. As we await for Denja to conclude his lap, hopefully he crosses the line. No, goes for the pits, so we'll just have to wait for the Williams pit crew. So standings were requested. I'm gonna run it through again. Apex Turbo leading by 13 points ahead of Fontana, who's on pole this time round. Third X Robin, fourth Slimy, fifth Denja, Dynamo sixth, Zap seventh, Igin eighth, Doublade ninth, and Reaper Dude rounding out the top 10. That is our championship standings as of now. Anyways, a bummer that we had to cut the qualifying short, but I can't believe I'm saying this, but Williams gets the 1-2 going into this French Grand Prix with Fonta and Denja. Jacob in the Racing Point is in third, Zab in fourth, Sabetti in fifth, Slimy takes P6, Malakic in seventh, Apex Turbo in eighth, our championship leader, Iggy ninth, Racing Tej in 10th, Ripper Dude in 11th, Doublade 12th, Ala 13th, Nichols 14th, Noob 15th, Sage 16th, Mike 17th, and Steven with the unfortunate disqualification will be starting from the back. Ooh, and it is raining quite heavily. Let's see if it will be a wet start in the wet tires, or will there be a transition to another condition regarding the tires? But in my screen at least that looks like red flag grade rain. And it will be intermediate tires starting the race. Probably if the conditions are not to change. Yeah, our Dublade is calling in the chat that it's inter to inter. So it will probably be similar kind of conditions than in the tier 2 race. Let's see if this will clear up like it did then. Steven remains stationary on the grid, so that's the start on the cold tires, and Mike does Mike's special in the first corner and gets disqualified. Cold tires in the rain, not good. I love it when it's wet in France. You nearly cannot see the track as it's all grey everywhere. Hunter now getting miles off the pack. Slowing down to get them back together. No idea where X-Robin is though. He was in the session prior to the start of the session, but for some reason isn't present here. Yeah, Alex, exactly. I mean, I thought I would have benefited from my picking of the wet setup in the tier 2 race, but I didn't because, well, it appears that my wet setup sucked. I just lost the track positions in the quali. Probably have to rethink my strategies going forward. Yeah, like I said earlier in the stream, that France is one of the most high probability of rain type of tracks. It almost always rains for a race at France. Yeah, I remember Rossi, you told me then. Anyways, our drivers are lining up to the grid. No point in keeping the tires because everyone is on inters anyway, so let's just stick with that. And it's 5 lights. And away we go, slithering away from the line go our drivers here in the French Grand Prix. Fontenot seems to get away well, but Denja gets it away even better, leading the pack going into turn 1. Let's see if there will be any misbehavior going into turn 1. Everyone's taking the first corner with a fair amount of cautious, but in turn 2 it's all mayhem. Plenty of wing pieces flying around. And Steven gets disqualified finally for remaining stationary on the grid. Allo, I think, has gone round in the turn 2. Let's see, no safety cars as of yet, which is a good thing. As the conditions would seem, they are quite tricky. Let's see the positions gained in the first set of corners. Dublade going up by four positions, and Sabetti having a dreadful start, losing out to 6. And the aforementioned gets the first penalty of the session. And Sabetti goes flying past Apex. Yeah, definitely a lot of sideways action here. But it seems that it has eased up a bit. Ponta has gotten back past Denja. Sorry that I missed that. But the gaps are all messed up. Hopefully they will even up. As Doublade is forced to pit, probably for repairs, and will lose out to that advantage he gained on the first lap, unfortunately. So does Mike Sands. As Sabetti is going for another move on Racing Tej. But I think Racing Tej used his battery there to keep in P8. And his Mercedes over the Finnish driver. Reproduced now inheriting P7 to Doublade. Sabetti is going at it again on the inside. But not quite managing to go past here. Ooh, bumps into the back of Racing Tej, but luckily no harm done there to either. Sabetti gets the better exit. But there is no space, has to go wide off the track, and that results in a 3-second penalty. Using all of the battery going down the back straight. And missing out, and Apex has slithered in, capitalized from that overtake attempt from Sabetti, and now up to P9 he goes. As at the front, Denja is trying to catch up to his teammate, keeping within that 1 second. Of course, DRS not available in the wet conditions. Let's see if there's more urgent battles such as this one, with Slimmy trying to catch Zap. As there's yellows, that's Alo went round in the sweeping right-hander. Let's see who will get the better exit here. I think they were quite equal. Denja gets the fastest lap with 1:45.8. Limmy cleverly waiting for the move. Did he tap the back of Zap? Probably did, but luckily no harm done to either. As Denja has now gotten real close to Fontenau, let's see if there will be a change in the leadership of the race. Both of them with full batteries, so Fonta has plenty to defend with. Denja using a bit of his, but not going for a move, probably just to repair that exit which didn't go all that well. Unfortunately, Doublade is forced to pit again and has now fallen to the back of the grid. Unfortunate. Let's see if there will be safety car action later on, as Slimmy has now slithered to the rear of Zab. Ooh. Both of them have to lift. The rain is very heavy. Slimmy, unfortunately, just at the wrong moment, suffers from connection issues, I think. Battle for P8 is still raging on, with Racing Tej leading the way from our championship leader Apex and Sabetti. Looks like there's no grip whatsoever on the inter tire, but great to see that there's no safety cars or no major incidents, as Jacob has set the fastest lap. And is probably trying to gain on the leaders as Sabetti goes whiskering past Apex. Looks like he was caught napping in the start-finish straight there. And immediately after that gets another 3-second penalty. Let's see the penalties now. And there's yellows. Doublade has gone round in the third sector, unfortunately. As Denja has managed to get past Fontenau. Sorry that I missed that. The gaps for me are glitching quite a lot, so apologies for that. Anyways, Denja inherits the position of the race leader and the lead Williams, which will of course play a part in going to the pit stops later. If they're not communicating via voice chat or something like that, they cannot coordinate the pit stops. So Slimmy and Racing Tej have had a moment, which cost Racing Tej a lot of positions. Luckily no damage though, but the tires are probably going to be overheated after that. Very unfortunate. Sorry that I missed that again too. But the gaps aren't currently showing that, and it's pretty hard to keep up with. I'm trying my best. Denja goes fastest with a 1:44.9 and has now pulled a gap of 1.2 seconds over his teammate. Jacob rather close behind. Igin manages to pass the now AI Slimmy. Very unfortunate for him to have connection issues. I think he would have been in a position to finish pretty good in this race. Anyway, it seems that the gaps have settled a bit, so let's take a look. So Apex and Stabetti with 3 seconds of penalties, along with Slimmy and Dublate. Nichols is racked up 6th, so probably was involved in that first corner incident. There was a lot of cars going off track there. And Alo goes past Sage. Did something happen between the two? I don't know. Definitely everyone struggling for grip, as displayed by Sage here. Going in circles in the chicane. Labet is still trying to catch Apex. As Denja is just bombarding away with fastest laps, and the gap at the top being now 2 seconds. So it seems that the race is settling a bit. Betty now getting closer to Apex Turbo. Let's see if we will see a move going into the back straight. Apex with a full battery though, so he has plenty to defend with. Really hanging on to the gearbox, looking to the inside, not a place to overtake that. And drops back. Dublade has retired, unfortunately, and that will cause a safety car. No idea what happened, but I'm thinking he might have lost the rear in the long sweeping right-hander at the beginning of third sector. Let's see if we can get a shot of that. Yes, it would seem he's gone to the wall there. Very tricky conditions, although the rain looks like it might be getting lighter. Engine now slowing down to remain within the delta. Let's see if anyone will pit for fresh tires. It's relatively early, but if the rain is gonna get lighter, and yeah, Denja opts for the pits, and thus Fonta does not. Neither does Jacob. So Denja the only car so far to gamble and opt for the pits. Let's see which tires will he get. Sabetti will follow suit. They will probably try to go on another set of inters on the end of the race. Sorry for the interruption, I just invited Slimmy back in. Nichols gets yet another 3-second penalty on the safety car. Hopefully he will be able to hop back on. It would be great for a commentator or in the spectator mode to get some information about the weather forecast for the remainder of the race event. So anyways, Denja, Igin, Racing Tej, Sabetti and Aero opting for the pits and fresher inters. I don't think they will go to the end, so they must have something in mind with the changing weather. Because it definitely seems that the rain is getting lighter, but will the track dry up and at what rate? Also, Apex has now opted for the pits. And it's another set of inters. So they will probably... They're probably thinking for that possible weather change later in the race that will cost Apex some positions as he falls behind Noob Squid. Down to 13th. It'll be interesting to see whether the sacrificing of track position, as is the case with Denja, sacrificing the top spot for the fresher tires, is gonna prove to be the better choice. Ooh, and there's some misbehavior. Apex and Pervisage collided. Somehow, even though Pervisage is sat in P11. As the safety car should probably be in this lap, and Fonter now to lead the way. And there's the notification, and safety car will be in this lap. Fonter really taking it slow. Which is of course a clever move. As the leader, you can decide the moment when you slam the throttle. Ooh, and there's even more misbehavior. Racing Tej gets tangled up with Pervisage. That's unfortunate. The penalties here being displayed on screen. Apex with 11 now. As Fonter now has went, Jacob drops back a bit. Let's see if Maleckic is available to gain on the leading pair. He is close to Jacob. No real gaps here early. Denja now close to Zap. I think he did get past Reaper Dude in the restart. We're struggling. Lima now back in the race. That's always great to see. Apex has retired from the session. Did he retire on track? That is against the rules and not cool. Whoa, and Aero doing a whole lot of something. As there's a 3-car pile up at the back. But I think this time around we survive without any safety cars. Now that I jinxed it, let's see. Yes, we did. And Jacob now drawing ever closer to Fonter now. Purple second sector. Sabetti and Reaper Dude are going at it. Wheel to wheel in the long sweeping right-hander. Fonta has 3 seconds now. And Sabetti has gotten past Reaper Dude. Now chasing Slimmy with the a bit older tires. Let's see Denja now really in the gearbox of Zab. With the new tires, but after 8 laps the inter shouldn't be all that bad. Denja really slamming the throttle from the last corner. Using the battery, opting for the outside. Let's see if there's a move. Fantastic move around the outside on turn 1 and manages to hold on for turn 2. Denja up to P4 then. That was a really nice move opting for the outside there. As we currently only have 5 drivers without any penalties. That will of course affect the finishing standings. As we take a look on Slimin, who although he was absent for some time due to connection issues, is now behind Zap. And not in a bad spot at all. Nichols now at the back, challenging Purvisage for 13th. Wheel to wheel going to the chicane. I think Purvisage might have lost the rear a bit, and away goes 2 positions. Now him being the last of the running cars in his Renault. Then Jono chasing Malechkic. Polish driver in Zolfatari. And Slimmy now, let's see, he's that close with a good exit. He could challenge, but doesn't really seem to get that exit he would have wanted. Denja now going into the 143s, so the conditions definitely improving here. Now with the rain being just a tad lighter, you can actually see the track, which is nice. Oh, there's the nice angle of the helicopter. The gaps at the top are really closing up. There's a bit of a train forming behind Jacob. There's yellows behind. No idea for what reason. Oh, Malechkic goes a bit wide. Denja opting for the inside. Not really a place to overtake, but if you have the gap, why not go for it? He did. Unlucky, but to no avail. Wait yet, but I do think we will see a move. Denja seems to be, at least pace-wise, being the class of the field. Really lighting up the rears. Exiting the last corner, but I don't think he has to run on Malechkic just yet. Looks to the inside, but cleverly will wait. Racing Dash is closing to Egan. in the Mercedes. If I remember correct, he was our British driver. Let's see now Denja if he is able to close the Malekic. Jacob goes defensive, Malekic opts for the inside. The two drivers going wheel to wheel here in the chicane. Jacob holding tight, at least for now. Let's see who gets the best exit. Fantastic three-car fight here for the second position. Jacob, I think he lifted a bit. That blocks Malekic, and Denja is now able to make the move around the from the inside, and is able to break into the podium positions. Let's see if Jacob is able to keep Denja behind. Bit of wheel spin in the exit. Keeping ahead of Malekic still. This will benefit Fonta with 3-second penalty ahead. Of course he will have to pit. But at what time, that remains to be seen. As Denja gets the slipstream. Opts for the outside. Will he do it again? Wheel to wheel, which is now the inside. Bit of wheel banging, and Jacob is able to keep the position. I think that wheel banging in the first corner might have lost Denja some time, and now loses that position. All that hard work to pass Malekic during the last lap gone to waste, but a fantastic bit of battle here up top. Let's see, Jacob low on battery. That's what I thought. Struggling on pace against the combatants behind. Ooh, Malekic, a bit of misbehavior after the chicane, and the rain has stopped now, so I think we will see a transition to dry conditions, as Malekic's overheated tires cause him to spin. That's really unfortunate. That's gonna cause Malekic to lose a lot of positions. And now his rear tires are lit up. Very tricky to get that car pointing back right in the right direction. Let's see if Denja is now back up against Jacob. Getting a better accent than Jacob, who is low on battery. Will go to the outside. Again, wheel to wheel to the first corner, and this time Denja has got it done. Back behind his Williams teammate in Fonta, who is now nearly 3 seconds ahead. But it has stopped raining, so I don't think that Denja's move to opt for the fresher set of tires is the best call. That remains to be seen. Will the track dry out soon enough for Fonta to pit on the dry tire? As Malekic now gambling and going for the dry set of tires, we will see if that proves beneficial. I don't think so, because there is still spray. It will take a good lap or two, or maybe even 5 to get the track in the proper condition. Yeah, he's just sliding around. Really unlucky for the Polish driver. He looks set to compete for the podium this time, but now struggles on the dry tires, as Reproduce has had a moment and lost a couple of positions, but luckily keeps his car pointing in the right direction. And there's yellows at the back. Did Nichols and Noofsquid collide? At least Nichols with damage in the wall. And so is Noob Squid, so they will probably have to pit. And it's not looking good for points for them unless there's a safety car period, which would totally mix things up now. Denja is back within a second of his teammate now with the fresher tires. Let's see if there will be a challenge. Ponta with plenty of batteries still remaining. Denja though flying. I think he probably has a more straight line heavy setup. Nichols has called it a day in the pits. And Noob Squid has opted also for the dry tires. It definitely is too early. There's that one line which might be good enough in a lap or two, but not just yet. You have to wait for the stewards to call the DRS back on. As Slimmy has finally gotten past of Zab, who has a puncture in his left front. So after only 14 laps on the tire, it gives out. So that will provide an interesting situation on the leaders, as Fonter now has also that 14 seconds and people now pouring into the pits. Jacob being one of them. Still intact tires with him though, as Denja has once again opted for the outside and made the move stick. Now inherits the lead with the fresher tire. I must admit, those inters don't look good no more. There's now plenty of people now opting for the pits and probably for the dry tires. Of course, Zap being forced to do so with that puncture. And Maleskits has retired, and that will cause a safety car. It's in the same place than Doublade, I think. Yes, it is. It's the same bit of wall, so he probably has lost the rear. Hit the inside wall. And that's the race done. But this will definitely prove to be an interesting situation, and not a good one for Fonter now, who has way more used tires than his teammate. And if his teammate pits, he's gonna have to either double stack or stay out for another lap, and that just might be too much for the tires, as being displayed by Zap earlier on. Of course, behind the safety car you can nurse your tires around, so maybe not too much of a risk, but it's still not a nice spot to be in. And Denja will opt for the pits. Will Fontenot do so? Yes, he will. So Williams' pit crew will have to double stack, and this will cost Fontenot. But I think it will cost everyone else running the wet tires, and Jacob should be able to snatch the lead. Let's see, it will be a tight one, as he's still on the third sector and has to wait out the delta. Denja is now out, so he will be back out on top. Because Pervisage is one lap behind. He will probably be able to pass the safety car and get on the lead lap. Let's see, Fontenot, even though Williams' pit crew double stacks, retains his P2. Sabetti gains from the pit stop shuffle is now up into P3, followed by Slimmy. And everyone now going for the dry tires, so we will see some dry running in the race. Interesting choices from some of the drivers. Oh, and Pervisage. Pervisage, I think he did try to overtake the safety car to get on the lead lap, which he should have been allowed to. Probably wasn't then, and is disqualified from the session. Very unfortunate he was given a chance to get back in the race, but it vanishes. Yeah, Rossi, definitely the fresh softs will last for the 10 laps, but just how fresh they will be in the end. Because very worn softs against mediums in, say, 40-50% max, I think they are a lot worse. They will get a good burst of speed right here early. I don't know. We will see. Yeah, Nichols, that's what I thought. Really unfortunate. The safety car is very glitchy in the game. They tried to fix it, but haven't quite managed to do so. Even though the game is a full year old now, I think. Or even more. There was a safety car incident in another league, I mean, that the then leader managed to pass the safety car. Whereas all of the field pitted, and he alone was approaching the safety car. The game told him to stay behind the safety car for that 1 second, but when he just drove past, the game was okay with it, and he won by over a lap, but stewards had to give him a penalty of the game time during that period. Anyways, 12 drivers in the race anymore. Mike looking strong to finish on the points. Let's just hope that he won't provide any entertainment, or so to speak. I've raced it with him as long as I can remember. Or at least as long as I have league raced. He's been in every league that I'm in. And he can be fast when he just can keep it between the white lines. But he's occasionally crash prone, I give him that. Alfonso now getting really close to Denja here. As it would seem that when going offline, it still is a bit crazy. If the safety car will be in this lap. It should. The pack is nearly together. Only missing Noob Squid. No, it isn't. So one more lap behind the safety car. And it will be a 9-lap shootout to the finish. No one should be having to pit no more. Except if there's damage to someone. But definitely Denja being the class of the field here today. I think he has had the best pace and is still having the fastest lap, so let's see if Fonta his teammate will be able to challenge him. Also, I think Sabetti was quite fast in the Tier 5 last season. Will he be able to challenge the Williamses for the top 2 spots? That we will see. Just when the Mercedes safety car comes in and the green flag racing gets back underway. Let's see the penalty situation here, by the way. So Fonta, Sabetti and Slimmy with 3 seconds, so Denja is looking strong in that territory too. Jacob with none, so he's still in a position to challenge for the podium positions. and further behind Racing Dash with 8, Allo with 6, and there's the notification that the safety car will be in this lap. The 6 seconds that Mike has will probably make it difficult for him to score points, but plenty of ways to still to go. 9 laps to be precise. Denja is leading the way. And you can see from the bottom right bar, when he slams that to the end, it's go time. Or hammer time. I think he's gone a bit early. Will the game limit? No, it won't. Gets away well. Fonto now drops back to 7/10 distance. Sabetti was caught napping there as well. He's over a second from the Williams pair. Limi was awake well in the restart and is now keeping close to Sabetti. So good 3 laps and then the DRS will open. Let's hope for good battles for positions here late in this French Grand Prix. Oh, and Jacob is now penalized, so there goes his advantage. Now he has to get past on track. No one really going for moves yet, apart from Allo, who is chasing Racing Tej. Outbreaks him, makes the corner, and gets the 7th position. Very nice move from Allo. Let's see if Racing Tej is able to come back at him. Allo at least using a lot of his battery. Will he have enough for the run to the line? Oh, and there's some misbehavior from Racing Tej. Drops back a couple of dents. Oh, and Slimy has now prepped close to Sabetti. Let's see who will have the best exit from the last corner. Going a bit over the curbs and he has used too much battery. Let's see. Now Jacob doesn't quite have the run on his teammate, as Igin has gone fastest with the softs with the 135. Nearly 10 seconds faster than in the wet conditions. Interestingly enough, the transition was just over the safety car, so it shuffled the field just a bit. Reproduce gets yet another penalty. Sabetti with more battery than Slimy, but... Oh, and Slimy taps the back of Sabetti, and there is damage. That will affect his performance. And Fonter now challenging Denja for the lead. Our top 2 guys really within a tenth of each other. Denja has used way less battery than Fonta, so he has plenty to defend with. And I think Denja should be able to retain his lead. Depends on an awful lot of the exit, which is better. Denja has better and still has battery for the line, so Fonta now loses a bit on that too, but still manages to go fastest, 1:33.5. Jacob now hunting his teammate's stricken car. Reproduce goes 1:33.1, which is now the fastest lap of the race. And Denja is now penalized too, so excitingly enough, the top 6 cars all have that 3 seconds. Zap, the only running car without any penalties, so he might win out if he manages to keep it within the white lines for the rest of the race, as now Jacob has the DRS, which Slimy doesn't. Both of them out of battery. And Jacob, I think he has the move. Yes, he has. Unfortunate for Slimmy to get damage here late in the race, and Zap is now penalized, so every driver in the tier 5 race here is penalized. Almost everyone with only 3 seconds though, so it keeps the stuff interesting. Let's see, Slimmy's driving now from Iggy's perspective. For Slimmy with without his end plate. We'll have the DRS going into the straight, and I think he got a bit better exit, and he has way more battery than Slimmy. So definitely will be in a position, if he manages to keep that close, will be in a position to challenge going to the back straight. Jacob goes ways wide in turn 2. Our leaning pair is once again very close to each other, now with the DRS enabled. Denja with 86% battery, which Fontenau only has 14 going to the straight. Denja using it to defend. Fontenau, even with DRS assistance, probably won't be able to get even close. Now if Fonta plays this cleverly, he's just staying within that 1 second. If he just can, and save the battery. But I do think Denja is too quick and he has to save the batteries. Allo and Reaper Dude have had a moment. Reaper gets the 3 seconds, lets Allo back past. Bit close call for contact there, but fair play from Reaper. Mike still in 10th and is looking strong to finishing on the points, as Racing Tesh behind has 8 seconds while as Mike has only 6. As Denja has now put in the new fastest lap of 1:32, is the track still improving? At least the cars are getting lighter as we run, with now only 4 laps remaining in this French Grand Prix. As Slimmy is now penalized with another 3 seconds, and so is Fontenau, so now Sabetti has a chance for the P2. He's definitely pushing, you can tell, from the usage of the battery. So is Fonta, I think he has pushed for a good 5 laps or so to try and catch Denja. But doesn't seem to be able to quite do so here. Reaper Dude and Allo going at it yet again, with Reaper Dude of course with the tire advantage. Allo has the lift and Reaper has the moved on. Definitely watching these two with a great deal of interest. Let's see Zab. He had his unfortunate puncture earlier. Still looking strong to finish on the points. As Iggy now. Slimmy has stayed out with the damage. And doesn't have any battery left. Let's see if there will be a move. Slimmy goes defensive on the inside. Goey has to move over and gets the 3 seconds in the process, so unfortunate. Let's see now if we will be able to challenge in the back straight. Slimmy with near empty battery. Egin has the better run. Slimmy gets another 3 seconds, so he won't be able to retain his position there. Wheel to wheel, and Egin goes past Slimmy for P5. Fair and square. With now Zab with a hefty amount of battery left compared to Slimmy is now drawing ever closer to. And I think that wing damage is gonna start kicking in Slimmy's performance as the tires get more worn. A Ukrainian driver nicely sporting his native colors in his helmet too. And now definitely started to push. Unlucky for him, Slimmy still has the DRS ahead, but how long? That we will see, as there is now only 2 laps remaining, and from the looks of it, Sabetti might be able to break into P2 ahead of Fontano due to that penalty. Racing Tej is forced to pit. Penalties will definitely affect the finishing order. Zap gets the DRS while Slimmy doesn't, and is able to get closer. Slimmy now lap after lap running with that near empty battery. It's not looking good. Zap getting really close in that sweeping right-hander, of course, due to that wing damage. Zap going miles wide, but with more grip. Keeps within 2/10. And now really the exit out of the last corner will resolve who will be first in the first corner, as they have started now the final lap of this French Grand Prix. Zap with the DRS. Slimmy with near empty battery. Will challenge. Slimmy goes yet again defensive on the inside. And Zap doesn't quite get close enough, or will he? After turn 2, nice exits from both of them. Using the battery. Getting to the inside, going into turn 3. Still side by side. Slimmy furiously defending that position, even though he has 9 seconds of penalties and will fall behind Zab unless something dramatic happens. Now would be the time to use all of the battery, Zab. As I will. Going to the outside, going into the chicane, and with such a speed difference the move isn't even a difficult one. And up into P6 he goes. Now with some gaining to do, just under 3 seconds, which he needs advantage over Egan. As we take a look at our, from what looks to be our race winner in Denja 07. Coming around the final corner with a wheel spin there to win the French Grand Prix here in Tier 5 tonight. His teammate Fontana completes the Williams 1-2, and now let's see. No, he doesn't. Sabetti just edges out on Fontana on penalties. Jacob 4th. Let's see if Egan will be able to retain his P5. No, he won't. Zap gets back up into P5. And Reproduce edges out over Slimmy. Allo finishes on the points, at least for now. And I think Mike will score points too here at France. Yes, he will. With Noob Squid finishing P11 and Racing Tej, after so much bad luck, comes home P12. Yeah, Rossi, you were right. I mean, that was a lot of pence. But still, we got a pretty good action here in Tier 5. Unfortunate for Fontana, because I think that double stack... No, but it was during a safety car, so it probably didn't matter all that much. Yes, Mike! Some points. Or point. And Codemasters are telling that you were the driver of the day. But still, congratulations for that point. Anyways, let's take one more look at the finishing standings. Denja07 is able to edge over Fontenau and take the win. Sabetti, my fellow countryman, finishes P2 in his Haas. Fontenau, unfortunately, after his pole performance in qualifying, is fallen victim to the penalties and has to settle for P3. Jacob finishes P4. Zab with a nice recovery drive after that puncture while it was wet manages to come home P5. Iggy in P6, Reaper P7, Slimmy P8 after a bit too many penalties. I think that was the issue that really led to this. Allo 9th, and Mike able to snatch the final points paying position with Noof and Racing Dash behind. Anyway, thanks for tuning in for some ALR. This was Tier 5. My name is Allu Pallu. It was great racing and great commentating to you guys. I hope we see you again. But for now, good night.